The restaurant lights glowed warm, golden against the polished wood. Silver cutlery clinked softly. The smell of roasted lamb and garlic butter filled the air. Amara carried a tray across the dining room, her black uniform pressed neatly, her steps steady. She had learned to move silently, to disappear into the background, but tonight, someone made that impossible. At the corner table sat Victor Kane, the billionaire CEO. Power radiated from him. His tailored suit shimmered under the chandeliers. His wristwatch gleamed like a miniature sun. People whispered his name, but never loud enough for him to hear. Amara set a glass of wine before him. Careful not to spill. His hand reached forward to adjust his collar. That was when she saw it. A locket, small, gold, resting against his chest. For one frozen second, she forgot to breathe. Her eyes locked on the tiny photograph inside. Her tray wobbled. Her throat tightened. It was not possible. It was her mother. Her mother's face, smiling from inside the billionaire's locket. Her lips parted before she could stop herself. That is my mom. The words cut through the air. The billionaire's hand froze. The glass of wine in his grip trembled. His eyes snapped upward, sharp as blades. Shock washed over his face. Erasing his usual calm, he did not blink, he did not speak. Every sound in the restaurant seemed to vanish. The hum of voices, the clatter of dishes, all gone. Only the thundering of Amara's heart remained. Victor. Kane's lips moved at last, barely a whisper. What? Did you just say? Amara's voice shook, but her eyes did not waver. I said, that is my mom. Her words echoed in her own ears, louder than she intended. Victor Kane's jaw tightened. He gripped the locket as though it might burn him. His face turned pale, the confident air collapsing around him like glass shattering. Amara stepped back, her hands trembling against the tray. The silence in the restaurant grew heavier. Pressing against her chest, Victor leaned forward, his voice low, almost threatening. Where did you see this woman? Amara blinked. Her heart pounded so hard it hurt. I do not just know her. She raised me. Victor's pupils widened. A bead of sweat traced down his temple. His hands, steady during billion-dollar negotiations, now shook uncontrollably. The locket slipped from his grip and clinked. Against the table, the photo stared up at both of them. The same smile, the same warm eyes. Amara's knees nearly gave out. Her mother here, around this man's neck. The billionaire swallowed hard, his voice breaking for the first time. She told me she never had another child. The room seemed to tilt. Amara's vision blurred for a moment. What are you saying? She whispered. Victor's eyes darkened. You are not supposed to exist. Amara's breath caught in her throat. Not supposed to exist? Her words cracked like glass breaking. Victor's stare bore into her, sharp and unblinking. He leaned closer, his voice low enough for only her to hear. There are things about your mother you do not. No! Amara's palms grew clammy. Her tray slipped from her grip and landed, with a dull thud on the carpet. The room seemed distant. Now, the whispers of diners blurred into a faint hum. It felt as if the world had narrowed to just two people, her and him. Amara forced her voice steady. What did you mean by that? Victor's lips pressed into a hard line. He hesitated. For a man who never hesitated, it was terrifying. Finally, he exhaled. She made me swear never to tell anyone. His hand hovered over the locket like it was alive. But if you are truly her daughter, then the truth will find you anyway. Amara's chest tightened. Her mother had passed away 5 years ago. She had gone to the grave with secrets. Amara never guessed. Her voice quivered. Tell me now. Victor's gaze flickered toward the crowd, scanning the room. His mask of power snapped back into place. Not calm, not confidence, but control. He pushed back his chair, the legs scraping loudly against the floor. Not here, he muttered. Then louder, follow me. He walked toward the private exit at the back of the restaurant. Amara's legs trembled. But she moved. Each step felt like walking deeper into a storm she could not see. The door swung shut behind them. The restaurant vanished. They were alone. And Victor Kane finally turned, his voice cold, yet shaking. "You were never supposed to find me." Amara's back pressed against the cold brick wall. The alley was quiet, only the faint hum of the city beyond. Victor's eyes glimmered under the dim light. Torn between rage and sorrow, he held the locket tightly, almost as if it was the last thing anchoring him to reality. "She told me to forget her," he said, voice low and heavy. "She begged me never to look for her again. And now, here you are." Amara's breath shook. Her mind spun with questions, each more terrifying than the last. Why? Why would she hide this from me? Victor's expression hardened. "Because your mother was not. The woman you thought she was." The silence stretched. Amara's heart pounded. In her chest, like a drum of war. She was part of something powerful, something dangerous. And when she left, she put everything at risk. The words sliced through Amara like knives. Her knees weakened, but she stood firm. "You are lying." Victor's eyes softened for the first time. "I wish I was." He opened the locket, showing the photo again. "Your mother saved my life. She was the reason I built my empire, and she was the reason I disappeared from the man I used to be." A single tear slid down Amara's cheek before she could stop it. The truth weighed heavier than anything she had ever carried. She looked at Victor one last time. "If she trusted you with her secret, then why do I feel like I am still in danger?" Victor froze, his jaw clenched. Then he whispered, barely audible, "Because you are." A car engine roared at the end of the alley. Headlights flared. Victor's face turned ashen. "Run!" Amara's breath caught. Her body refused to move. "Now!" He barked, his voice sharper than ever. The car door slammed. Shadows spilled out into the night. Amara turned and fled, the echo of her footsteps mixing with the pounding of her heart. Behind her, Victor stood alone, gripping the locket as the figures approached, and as she vanished into the city, one thought consumed her. Her mother's past had just become her future, and nothing would ever be the same again.